Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Can You Believe Already, the third edition of Self-Care Saturday. And for those of you who haven't met me, my name is Warren Flood. I'm working as a movement and mindset coach along with Steve and Jenny, who you know are functional medicine specialists. And in terms of Self-Care Saturday, just what I've discovered and something that I'd like to share with you, just as these are always invitations. These are not like absolutes. This is just an invitation about what I've been thinking about and what I've been exposed to, and sort of giving a few presentations and working with clients. Is that I think last week we actually spoke about the importance of movement and why that's so incredibly important. And usually we assume movement to just be what it is that we do when we exercise. And it's just a pattern that I've seen in working with people, that in the discussion about where they find themselves, whatever condition you're currently dealing with, and usually it's some kind of, in terms of working with Steve and Jenny, it's some kind of inflammatory condition. And what happens is that in discussion with people is that we take the focus of, I generally focus away from actually what's happening physically to the person in their bodies, and focus on, so where are you? Where are you now? Where would you like to be? What's going on? Tell me a little bit about your language. Tell me a little bit about your history. Tell me about what it is that you're wanting, and what is the vision for the rest of your life? And what is the vision for the rest of your life? And in chatting to people about that, a lot of people say, well, I just don't want to be living the life that I'm living. And that is not really enough, because here's the thing about thinking about, I don't want to be living the life that I'm currently living, is that we keep thinking the same things. And I've heard this said, this was from Esther Hicks, I have to borrow this, is everything keeps changing, but it keeps changing to the same thing because we keep thinking the same thoughts. And the invitation here is to really create, if you haven't got a vision, if you haven't got a plan of how you would like your life to look, then how on earth are we supposed to directionalize you to moving towards something? So that's where the aspect of movement. And a lot of people, there's so many people that have absolutely no idea other than, well, this is what I'm doing, and I haven't really thought about what does the next 3 years look like, or 2 years look like, or 5 years, or 10 years even. So the invitation is to even just to begin. And people say, well, I just need to get through this thing, and I need to actually. But let's just say you get through this thing, but there's another thing. Then what? So at least when you start creating some kind of vision, and you don't have to tell anybody about it. It's just you to sit down. And it doesn't matter how you're feeling emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, just to get it written down. And it may seem like an impossible task. It may seem that something, or for some of you, it could be something, wow, this is a great idea. I'm living my best life. I'm going to, sort of expand on this and do that. And for every single one of you, I wish for you so much more than what you're currently experiencing, and no matter what level of experience you're currently having in your lives at the moment. And as an example, the one of Steve's clients that I was working with, we were having a discussion about sort of where he was with his business, and he actually established that he got some the conversation went from where he was at into sort of what the business was meaning and doing to him, and his perspective around the business. And just what in conversation, what we uncovered was a way for him to get external organizations to actually assist him with the development of the next phase of the business, which he then wanted to sell. But the enormity of having to work through that by himself just put so much pressure on him, and that pressure created stumbling blocks that were like sort of spilling out into the rest of his life, and he just found that he couldn't move forward. And as soon as there was that almost like sort of that pressure release in one area of his life, suddenly he had some energy available to him where he could start exercising. Once he started exercising, more blood flow, more sort of awareness, but sort of dampening down the flight and fight response, more capacity. His business started getting busier, and so it started evolving. And we're so caught up with what's so wrong that we forget to practice what's right in our lives. And it may be just a small area, but our vision becomes so locked down into trying to sort out this one thing that we forget that you've got a whole beautiful life all around you that you could still be living. So the invitation here today for Self-Care Saturday is, if in relation to movement, what is the one thing? So if you like write down it and you like really squeezed real tight in terms of where you're at emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally, is what is the one thing? What is the one thing that you could do that could just create like a little bit of movement? And it could be even as simple as tidying up your desk. And then once you've tidied up your desk, you can tidy up that particular room. Once you've tidied up that particular room, then, and I'm stealing this from Jordan Peterson, then once you've tidied up that particular room, then you can go and tidy up the rest of your house or your apartment, and so it starts spilling over. But then at least there's a start and a finish. So choose one thing that you can start and that you can finish to the best of your ability for that day, and then perhaps another day and another day. And there's this, if you've wanted to give stuff away, or if you've wanted to go through your cupboard just to actually sort some stuff out that you got from way back when, then do it. Sort it out, go give it away. Just that act of movement signifies, so symbolic of how you can actually start getting movement in other areas of your life that will just reduce some of the perceived pressure, so that you actually can free up more life force that can actually then aid in your healing. And here's the thing about getting better, is that it's a conversation that I often have with people. You're not going to bludgeon your body into submission. It's going to be through a state of grace. You're going to flow and feel your body starting to come alive as you let go and stop defending and harboring judgments, and look to your perspectives. And do your perspectives really serve you? Do you have movement in your perspectives, or are your perspectives very sort of, I can't do this, I've reached the end of my capacity? You may have reached the end of your capacity for now, which is only temporary, but in all the world of potential, there exists so much that there's definitely a way. So there is no problem in the world that cannot be solved, that doesn't have some kind of solution to bring some kind of absolution, where you can actually feel that you can just create like a little bit of space. And the way we can do that as well is in giving as well. Giving is movement. You're right, I don't have anything to give right now. Well, give a kind thought in your mind without anybody even knowing. Quietly, secretly, nobody even needs to know. Just give a kind thought. If your thoughts are sort of defensive and quite aggressive, and even your own thinking is sort of every now and then sort of devolves into a little bit of self-hatred or whatever it is, look to that. And it's not about being all Pollyannish and sort of saying that it's actually just about allowing yourself that even though I'm not happy with my body right now, I know there's a way. That's an open-ended. That speaks to movement, where I hate my body. It's such a finite, definitive, strong, and just imagine the chemical response that's happening in your body to that. So not only is your body you working with some kind of like inflammatory response, but your language is speaking to it and just like stirring it and making it so sticky. So look to your language, look to the movement, and give of kindness, especially to yourself. When last were you really kind to yourself? And just do something. And this week I had a couple of breathwork sessions that I did for a corporate, and part of the process is I get them to lie down. We have a bit of a chat. We talk about what breathwork is, what breathwork isn't, how quickly they can access it. And when most people are just absolutely exhausted, utterly, absolutely exhausted. As they lie down on the mat and their head hits that pillow, about 3/4 of the room actually falls asleep. So in that way, there's movement, give yourself the time to actually just be exhausted, and allow yourself to rest and recuperate and look to your language. And it's not forever. It's not forever. Just wherever you can, find a way to create gentle movement. Find a way to, if you're having like angry experiences, just hold back on those, just temporarily, not denying the fact that you have the right to feel angry if you feel that somebody's not behaving in a way that they shouldn't be, or whatever the situation is. But it's really about just allowing. Remember, you're putting yourself first. Stimulus, pause, response. Rather walk away and come back and have a conversation a bit later if you possibly can. And I'm just throwing it out there. These are not finite things that you need to do. These are invitations just to expand your thinking, just in the same way my thinking has been expanded by all the beautiful conversations that I've had with so many people over the last few years about how do we create movement in our lives? How do we do this in a way that is graceful and befitting, a way to enable us to heal even better. And remember, healing is an accepting where you are, and then just allowing yourself to the space for your body to recover, to recuperate, to heal, to open up, to a space of non-resistance. And in that acceptance, it's not the acceptance of giving up. Oh no, not at all. It's actually a very strong, powerful, I'm letting go of all I'm defending, because what happens on the other side? What am I accessing just on the other side of that? And then just I made a few notes, because as you know, I jump all over the place. And then, of course, and then if you've got something creative that you can pursue, whether it's gardening or whether it's just reading a book, and if it's just, I don't have time to do all those things, if you make the time, even just a little bit of time, you actually bring. Gardening has been proved to just completely lower your fight and flight response, your stress response. So, and it's outdoors, and if you can do it barefoot, even better. Just watch the heat with all the sun that's busy shining here in Johannesburg. But something creative. Go to a movie. Have a phone a friend. Do the things that actually are generally free, that cost you nothing. So go for a walk in the park, take your shoes off, do some gardening, do a bit of doodling, read a book, phone a friend, take a drive out to the zoo lake, or just something that's out of your norm, and just get some movement going where you can enjoy the things that are available to us, and just to gently soften that perspective that all that there is to solve is to make yourself get better. And then once that just creates some space, and then to start really the encouragement here is to create a bit of vision. Where are you now, and where would you like to be? And then just to make a few notes about that. Even if you just make a few notes about that, and you keep adding to that bit by bit. And some of you might be so time constricted, which is a perspective that you can't even pick up a pen to write down about where it is you would like to be, what your vision is of your future. And here's the thing, no one's going to do it for you, and time flies so quickly. You could suddenly be another decade down the line and still doing the same thing, eking out the same thoughts, having thin conversations with yourself. So the invitation here is to begin to look at engaging in rich conversation. And the way I've personally done that is I've actually turned my car into a podcast theater. There's not a moment that goes when I get into my car, I switch on a podcast, because sometimes I just can't trust my own thinking to enable to get me to where I want to be going. So I just pour information. I don't decipher it. I don't try and make sense of it. I don't particularly get hooked on it. I've got a few specific people that I listen to, and I just pour that information into my brain, which enables my mental landscape to grow a little bit wider than what it currently is. And in that way, the next time I anticipate an issue, a problem, a perspective that I am bumping up against, at least possibly I could draw on not just my own experience of my past, but in a way moving forward. So after that whole long soliloquy, I wish you a wonderful weekend of perhaps some introspection and some creativity, and I do hope you get some mud between your toes and you get your fingers dirty, and take good care. We'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.